Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details. In 2011, Patek Philippe launched the successor to the 5970, and it was called the 5270. But it continued to evolve the breed, and by 2014, we get the model that you see right here with blue dial and white gold case. This is the 5270G-019. Changes include the addition of a tachymeter scale, the famous chin at the bottom, the white gold, and the blue metallic sunburst dial combination. There's a lot to love here. It's bigger than its predecessor, at 41 millimeters in diameter, and yet fairly slim at 12.9 millimeters thick, from lug tip to lug tip, 49.4 millimeters with a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw this watch on my wrist, and you can see my wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. The watch wears nicely, and it's very comfortable. It's broad, and I wouldn't wear it on a wrist much smaller than mine, but I think you can wear this watch on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference. Down the barrel is always the honest angle, and there you go right there over the top. The cuff shot one more time. With a concave sloped bezel, it will slide underneath the dress cuff. We have here a large rectangular scale alligator leather strap, semi-gloss, mid-blue. I would call it a medium blue. We have a monotone stitch. We have a sheer cut side that's lacquered for a clean finish. On the bottom, you can see calfskin. It's a Patek Philippe factory strap in excellent condition. We have the pull tab spring bars, so you can just use your fingernail to pop the strap off the case. And then we have a full clasp. You can see the Calatrava cross, and that is the symbol of the brand. We'll see it again and again. There is a little radial spring right here that snaps this shut. You will notice that this watch has not been refinished, and that's how we intend to keep it. The marks are insignificant. You can see that the clasp is always going to be a wear piece, but we would rather market the watch fully intact than diminish the metal. There are no marks on this watch that couldn't be refinished easily if you wish during factory service, but it is only factory once, and if you want the crispness of the original character lines, and we do, we're going to leave this virgin white gold. Now, the timepiece includes a number of design wrinkles. You can see how the mid case is stepped out, how there's a little bit of a step between the edge of the case and then the lip of the bezel, how the bezel itself is actually concave, not conical, how it has a little flange adjacent to the sapphire, and how there is a little step on the flank of the lug, but that the lug itself is also stepped out from the case. Patek Philippe case making, that is its in-house case making, has come a really long way in sophistication since its first tentative step of purchasing case maker Atelier Réuni back in 1975. You can see we have some vintage-inspired rectangular chronograph pushers, Calatrava cross again. You will note, contrary to the myth, not every Patek Philippe watch lacks hacking, and in fact, most of the new generation of manufacture movements do feature stop seconds, and so this one does. On the dial, we have a metallic blue sunburst. The sub-registers have concentric patterns internally. The hands are white gold. You can see that the hand for the running seconds of the chronograph, that is actually a matted white gold for contrast. We have leaf-style hands for the sub-registers, and then we have a perpetual calendar. So we've got the day, date, month, leap year phase right there for, remember, the Olympic year, the summer Olympic year, is always the leap year until we get to the year 2100. That's the one that breaks all the rules. The hands and the indices are all white gold because that will never tarnish, oxidize, or change color. Perpetual calendar can deal with irregular length months and leap years. The moon phase, coaxial with the date, once set, does not need to be reset until the year 2100. We have a tachymeter scale on the dial, and a tachymeter on the dial is sort of a first half 20th century style of tachymeter. After about 1960, the tack usually appeared on the bezels. This is a vintage nod here, and you can use it with the chronograph to gauge the speed of something. An airplane or a race car over a kilometer is the standard example. Flipping it over, we have the nice modern in-house caliber 29-535 PS for petite seconds. It has small seconds, running second. You can see that it is a column wheel lateral clutch chrono, manual wind with a 65-hour power reserve. It features a free-sprung Gyromax style balance with a metallic handmade overcoil hairspring, 4 Hz beat rate, 33 pivot joules. It is adjusted in 5 positions, which is the high horology and chronometer standard. There's a little pawl and wheel for the instantaneous minute jumper. The column wheel feel and sound is exemplary. You can see the Geneva style capped and polished column wheel. We have a steel clutch for the chronograph, and you can see that all the chronograph parts are steel with satin on their tops and bevels on their side. The time-telling parts, or the primary bridges and plates, they are made of brass and rhodium plated. They are beveled on their sides, but the bridges are striped across their top, and then there's engine-turned perlage on the base plate. All screw heads are black polished with chamfered slots and circumference. Wheels are satinated. Locating pegs, which you can see repeatedly, are used to locate bridges or springs on bridges or plates below, and those locating pegs here are polished on their top, which is a lovely look and shows that this is exhaustively finished. Even some of the small springs feature satin on their top and beveling on their side, proving that Lange does not have a monopoly on chronograph fine finish. And then all of this with a screwed-in case back, water-resistant to 30 meters. A Perpetual Calendar Chronograph, a signature from Patek Philippe. They have continuously had a Perpetual Calendar Chronograph wristwatch in the line since the 1518 of 1941, and this continues the tradition. Reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details. One more detail, you might ask about the gold. People ask me, is this traditional white gold or gray gold? Gray gold is the higher quality stuff, a white gold alloy that is white all the way through and never needs rhodium plated. This is gray gold. Again, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for pricing. One more thing, a lot comes to mind. This little aperture right there, that's a day-night indicator. So you don't want to try to set the calendar using the pusher adjusters on the flank during the hours when that little aperture turns blue. That's your danger zone, the nighttime, when the calendar is mechanically changing itself automatically. Don't use the calendar setters when that little dark circle is present. Team Mosso at the1916company.com for pricing.